Welcome to the Queer Love Podcast, the silly and serious shenanigans of two queer relationship coaches. I am your host, Elizabeth Cunningham.
And I'm your host, Lee Greeps.
On this podcast, we talk about how to live your best queer life with fulfilling, healthy relationships and anything else that makes your little queer heart happy. Because living your life outside of the heteronormative scripts is totally possible for you.
Each episode, we explore all things queer love from our professional perspective as relationship coaches, our own personal experiences, and as partners.
If you love our show, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter at Queer Love Relationships. You can also check out our website, www.queerloverelationships.com.
Thanks for following us and enjoy this episode.
Welcome to the Queer Love Podcast.
I feel like I should just go woo woo because it's like in contrast, you don't usually sing it, and I usually sing the woo woo.
You sing the woo?
That's woo woo woo. That's singing.
I did not know that.
I feel like that's singing.
Well, we just learn new things every single time we hit the record button. I feel like I learn new things.
Wow, not getting recognized.
I truly apologize for not recognizing you for the clear singing talent that you are.
I don't say talent, but I was singing. I won't make such bold claims. I know my skills and talents. The singing is not one of them.
Well, there you go.
And I'm okay with that.
Not a new thing. Maybe it's not. There we go. All right. Well, what are we talking about today if it's not being the next American Idol?
Oh, God. What are we talking about? We're talking about things not being fair and you not getting things that you want in your relationship because it's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair, man. It's the, what's her name? Veruca Salt. Is she the one that's like the bratty one?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because Violet's the one that gets blue. Yeah.
Violet's the one that gets
Salt.
Veruca Salt. There you go.
That's the energy I want you to bring.
I would not have remembered her last name.
I've seen that movie so many times. I've read the books. Love Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka is great.
The 70s version.
The 70s version.
Is it 70s or late 60s?
I don't know. The Gene Wilder version.
I think it was 71, I think. I don't know.
The...
Anyway, that's the only version that exists. Anyone else want to say something, come and argue with me. I don't care. I'll bring you back to reality.
It's so true.
And that's how I feel about that. So, hot takes.
Hot takes.
It's not fair. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about fairness in relationships.
Yeah, obviously it's not fair.
And obviously it's not fair.
Yeah.
All right.
That's usually what we hear from people.
Yeah.
It's
not fair.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, it could very well not be fair.
It could very well, yeah.
This is not to say that anytime that comes up, it's like, no, it's actually fair.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, no, it actually might very well not be fair.
Yeah.
And
I also think that just as a blanket statement, which is dangerous, but as a blanket statement, like, not everything in relationships is going to be fair.
No.
And that's also okay.
Well, I think that's just that's the experience that gets wild in, kinds in sessions like coaching, therapy sessions or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And being in, or, maybe something that's going on, looking on the outside is like legitimately doesn't seem fair in one side or the other or whatever it is.
For sure.
And also, but then, because of the, emphasis on justice and fairness and everything in our society in different areas, not just in relationships.
Yeah.
There is such a thing where it's like, if it's unfair, then it is wrong. right? Or
Right.
bad,
Right.
or negative in some
Or
regard.
even unethical.
Right.
Or immoral.
Yeah, so it's like there's so many things woven in that, and then you put that into, you know, the pot of relationships, and, you know, and then in that experience it's like, oh, this obviously means there is something wrong.
Right.
And it's not always the case, and it's a bit of a, like,
Yeah.
mindfuck.
It is. It is. Yeah, definitely.
It's contradictory.
Contradictory. Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of, like, the eye-opening books for me inside of this topic was actually nonviolent communication. Because one of the things that he talks about in, like, the later chapters of the book is around your values and, like, what do you value in relationships. And, like, you know, if you are someone who values fairness, and you see things through the lens of things being fair or unfair, then you're probably more likely to see what's going on in your relationship as unfair because you value fairness. Right. And that was really eye-opening for me because I am someone who very much values fairness.
I feel like that would be a majority of people, honestly.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. I don't, yeah.
I was thinking about, like, no, I mean, it's particularly, like, in this society, like, you know.
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely don't think I'm in the minority of.
I mean, I'm like, yeah, so many people are in that one.
Yeah, for sure. But it was also eye-opening to me to consider that isn't, that's number one, some people don't look through that lens, like don't look through the lens of fairness. And also to consider, like, what you just shared, which is unpacking fairness and, like, separating it out from all of those other things, like being bad or wrong, or right versus wrong, or moral versus immoral, or ethical versus unethical, and rather, like, just looking at fairness on its own, and then having those other things be a little bit separated from it. Like, they're not, like, fully separate. Like, there's a Venn diagram.
Right.
But it's not a full circle, right? Like, just because something is unfair doesn't mean it's unethical. Just because something is unfair doesn't mean that there's something necessarily wrong, or that someone is doing something wrong, or being bad, or doing something bad, right? And that was really eye-opening for me when I had that my own personal epiphany around that in relationships, for sure. Yeah.
I just hear the Veruca Salt song in my head now.
Yeah. Don't care
It's literally
how
the part that's
I
going
want
on.
it now.
That is 100% what's going on in my head right now.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to, like, start at the end. So what do you think is the most important thing that people should know about fairness in relationships?
Well, my mind goes to what we just talked about with, like, doesn't mean it's wrong. So I guess just following that kind of thread, the next thing that would come up for me, another really important thing to know about fairness is that get ready for it to feel sucky.
That's true. Fairness does not always feel good.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything in that one, especially in teasing apart the, if it feels unfair, if it's actually unfair, whatever it is, and teasing apart that it's like there's something wrong going on, because even say you're in a talking to someone and like a coach or therapist, whatever, and it's like they're providing that perspective where it's like, and you're starting to see like, there's not necessarily anything wrong or bad, like your partner didn't do anything bad or like malintent or anything of that nature to create this experience that it feels unfair for you. And when you start to see that, but then it's still that feeling of like, but it's unfair. Like, what you're telling me is that oh, there's nothing wrong happening, but I'm still feeling that it's unfair because it's unfair. And so now I'm just supposed to like go on, with this kind of sensation. Like, what? Because, a lot of the drive that comes with, fair, like if you're feeling something that's unfair or trying to go for justice or whatever it is in a situation, it's like that's like really fueling you to be like, oh, yeah, see, I'm going to make something right and, right the wrong.
Right.
And it's kind of like you got to stamp out that fire.
Yeah.
But still be like, dang it.
Yeah.
And it is just one of those things when there's like those contradictory kind of emotional experiences or just experiences in especially relational dynamics. It's just really hard because it's not to say that you're not going to feel hurt about it or you're not going to feel upset, angry, sad, disappointed, all the things that people don't want to feel. Like that's present, and also it doesn't mean that there's something bad happening in a weird way in that sense. And yeah, it's just really hard to be with all that. So I'm like, it's important to know. Just because it feels like it sucks doesn't mean it's something weird happening. As weird as that sounds. Yeah. I feel like it's just another important thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that that's true because I think when we have feelings that don't feel good or that feel bad, we want the experience to match that feeling, or we think that it should match that feeling. And I think inside of the lens of fairness, you do run into those situations where you can feel really shitty and also have nothing be really wrong.
It's a weird thing.
It is really weird. It is very hard to experience. And, I think part of the lesson, I don't know if that's exactly how I want to say it, but part of the opportunity, there you go. Part of the opportunity for discovering this inside of fairness is also the opportunity of holding contradictory things in relationships, which I think is a really important skill to learn, especially in relationships, because there are going to be contradictory things. Like this is just one example of the possibility of contradiction inside of your own experience in relationships, and then having to contend with that and to work through that or heal through that or whatever, or just experience it. Just understand that that's a normal experience. Sometimes there's nothing to work through or heal from. Sometimes it's just that realization of, oh, this is just a shitty experience, and also there isn't anything wrong. And there's nothing that I can do about that. Like all there is to do is just like recognize it. And sometimes that's the opportunity in the lesson too, is that there isn't anything to do, because I also think inside of this conversation of fair versus unfair, which then leads to like justice versus injustice, is that we do have a kind of cultural conversation, especially in the United States, but I certainly think in Western societies, and I can't speak to Eastern societies just because I just don't know that much about them, but maybe they have this too, is that we have this idea that if there is an injustice, that action needs to be taken. So if you have that collapse of fair versus unfair equals justice versus injustice, then there can be this, a subconscious compulsion to have a need for action, right? There should be something to do about this. Something needs to happen. Someone needs to answer for this, right? And so the uncollapsing of fairness and unfairness with justice versus injustice in these situations can also lead to a very real and interesting, hard feeling of the not doing of something. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't like to not do anything.
Well, I don't like to not do anything.
I know you don't.
I am certainly, but that's been the opportunity. That's also been the lesson for me personally, is the not doing of things, like the learning of when inaction is actually the most appropriate and effective and healthy thing to do, is to not do something.
Yeah.
Or to not need to do something about whatever is happening, and just to recognize, like, yeah, this is unfair, and also there's nothing wrong, and there's nothing to do about it. Like, that has been so hard for me.
That's why I'm laughing, because I'm like, oh my, you can just like hear it in your voice. You're like, yeah. Anyway,
that has been so challenging for me.
No, I know. I just think about it for you too, because like, yeah, obviously the value in fairness, but I also think about how, you know, you do live all your vigilante
I do
stuff, you know,
I do.
it's like, that is all portraying that, you know?
It is. We were just talking about this
Yeah.
yesterday. Lee and I went on a little hike yesterday, and one of the things that got brought up was like the types of stories that we really love, and like why we love those stories, like how we really relate to them. And for me, I love,
vigilante.
oh my God, I love vigilante stories. I am obsessed with, they feel so good. Like, vigilante stories feel so, they fulfill something in my inner being that just like, it's an itch that just gets scratched so perfectly and wonderfully.
It
And
really checks out for you.
yeah, and part of that is like the justice of things. Like, part of it is like the no matter what, because like vigilante stories often have the aspect of like there's some rule or a law that is unjust. And so the reason that you have a vigilante is because you have to break the law, or you have to break the rules in order to get justice. Like, and that just scratches an itch for me. And I'm just like, fuck yeah, like making things right, like no matter what, you know? And when you have this, you know, fairness collapsed with right and wrong, then there is this like, you know, I have to make things right, like no matter what.
You can feel the fire, man. Feel it. It's so funny.
And like that's so real for me. And again, like that's why this has been such a huge opportunity for me and like my own growth. Is the inaction of things, is the non-right or wrong of it. Like the non-right or wrong, the inaction, the non-justice or injustice. It's just like, this thing happened, it was unfair, and sometimes it's like it was unfair for everyone too. It was like, it was unfair for you because of X, Y, and Z reasons. It was unfair for me for X, Y, and Z reasons. It was unfair to like these other parties involved, you know, for whatever reason. Like, there's just a lot of unfairness in this particular situation, and like that's just what it is. And that's kind of it, you know?
Super inspiring.
Was that inspiring?
Yeah. That's just it, guys.
Are you making fun of me, or was that really... I feel like you're making fun of me.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm just being sarcastic, because you're like, that's just it, guys.
That's just a period.
Yeah, no, I'm not making fun of you or anything. It's just like, it's inspiring. No, I mean, I think because it can be, you know, people can hear this and be like, oh, see, I just have to give up. Just gotta, that's it. You know, like nothing to do. I just have to succumb to the whims of the world and my partner, and, you know. Like, you can easily go into that track too.
Yeah. And that's not what we're saying. But I'm glad that you said that, because that's kind of like what folloos, right?
Right.
It's
and
like,
that's why I'm like, that's why I was like, super inspiring, you know?
Yeah, super inspiring. Give up now.
Just find a nice comfy spot, just lay down, face down. And that's how life's going now. No, that's not it. But
Excuse me. So, if it's not like a that's it, so therefore give up, then it's a that's it and what?
And accept.
I feel like a lot of people view acceptance as giving up. Like,
Right.
that's also like a collapse as well.
No,
like,
yeah,
acceptance
is like,
equals.
well, then there
Right.
it
Acceptance
is.
equals like giving up, or acceptance equals resignation, right? Like being resigned, or acceptance equals resignation and like, what's the word that I'm thinking of? Like, what's the word when you, helpless. There you go. Yeah. Helpless, powerless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, definitely acceptance will bring up all that for most folks because it is like you're just kind of like, well, gotta accept it. That's it. Versus, when I'm talking about acceptance in this sense, I mean, not even just in the context of fairness, unfairness, whatever, in relationships. Like, there's just a lot of things in relationships that acceptance is needed so that you can actually be with what is happening and then change that, right? Like, the acceptance, it's like, say you go to, I don't know, a cafe of sorts, whatever, and you ordered a roast beef sandwich, and then they bring out to you, like, a ham and cheese sandwich. In order to get that changed, you have to accept the fact that in front of you is a ham and cheese sandwich. Like, I'm not going, I am now at the whim of this ham and cheese. Like, oh no, my life is helpless. Like, I'm just a poor little soul over here. Like, you have to be like, oh, I accept that in front of me is a ham and cheese sandwich. Now, in that acceptance of being with what is the reality, you can go up to the counter and be like, hey, I ordered a roast beef sandwich. This is a ham and cheese sandwich. May I get this swapped out? And they're like, oh my God, so sorry about that. Let me get that change for you. You took the actions to make the change.
Right.
Based off of accepting the reality of the scenario.
Right.
And then they bring you out a roast beef sandwich. And maybe they're like, hey, you know what? We can't give this ham and cheese sandwich to anyone. Here, you get another sandwich. And then you're like, oh my God, I got 2 sandwiches now. But that is when I'm talking about acceptance, like, it's being with what is.
Right.
Be with the ham and cheese sandwich. And then from that state, go, what can I do to change this, right?
Right. Instead of sitting there and being like, I wish this wasn't a ham and cheese sandwich.
Be like, how
dare they give me a ham and cheese sandwich?
It's so unfair. This always happens to me. I never get what I want. And like eating the ham and cheese sandwich. You're just like, whereas it's like, hey, being with that, and so that's when I'm talking about acceptance of like, okay, accepting, like, there's this scenario that just happened. It feels really unfair. Maybe you talk with your partner about it or whoever you're interacting with. Like, these aspects felt unfair, blah, 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 blah. And maybe in a partnership, it's like, oh yeah, these specific aspects, like, oh, we can, start to talk about maybe agreements around it, or like changing up things or some boundaries, or or just being like, whoo, well, now that I know that for the future, we will, do our best to not do that again.
Right.
So it's again, just accepting with what is, and then being able to go, what's going on, right? And not, it's like that is very different than being like, this is unfair. You will now be punished.
Right.
And I will receive my justice for this unfairness, right? Like, that's because even like, following that same track, if you're like, you start, I don't know, stonewalling and like, being avoidant of your partner, or just like not talking to them or whatever, and you're like, this is,
or holding it against them.
Yeah, or holding it against them. Like, this is their punishment. It's like, that's only making things worse. It's like, you got your quote unquote justice, right? Like, what you deemed as justice.
Right.
And then now it's just creating even more of a division, in that scenario and you're not changing anything, right? And you're still feeling really hurt.
Yeah. And now the likelihood that they want to change or want to work with you in that change has now gone down significantly. Now there's also repair work to do off of your actions in treating something like it was, like it was bad or wrong, or or that now your partner is bad or wrong. And so now there's even more repair work to do. Yeah. So you're getting farther and farther and farther away from fairness. Repair.
Go ask for that roast beef sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, first of all, I love that analogy. What a great analogy. What a fantastic, that is, it's really good.
But I just,
because you can hear, because when you think about a situation that you feel a lot of charge around, that you do feel is unfair, that you feel hurt by, it's harder to hear the kind of absurdity of your own behavior. Yeah. Because you feel justified. You feel justified in doing what you're doing. But when you put it into a different perspective, you're just like, oh yeah, that would be kind of a silly thing to do, huh? Oh, yikes. All right. All right. I hear it. But I think also when you just wanting to name that when it is in relationships and there are charged feelings, hurt feelings, it can be more complex than just having a conversation about, a roast beef sandwich. And I know that that's obvious, but I also just want to validate anyone's feelings out there who's like,
our relationship is not a sandwich.
Yeah. Just want to because we do this for a living, and so I'm hearing as we have these conversations, I always hear people's responses in my head, and people are like, well, but it's not a roast beef sandwich, it's this and this and this, and they did this and da da da, and it's been and it was and I have tried to have these conversations,
for sure. I get that. I could have added more layers of complexity to the thing. You walk up to the counter and they're like, whatever, fuck you. Could have done all that, but we're just going for the acceptance piece. So.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think that demonstrated acceptance really, really well. Yeah, for sure. And it's also inside of what you can control as well. Because I also, in these scenarios, and also inside of acceptance, inside of the conversation of acceptance, part of what's challenging with acceptance is giving up the control or accepting other people's behavior. And again, not accepting their behavior was okay, not accepting condoning their behavior, not even accepting understanding their behavior. It doesn't mean any of those things. It literally just means that's what they did, period. Whether you liked it or didn't like it.
They threw the ham and cheese sandwich in your face. And you're like, well, I am accepting that now there is ham and cheese all over my face because they threw it at me.
Right. I'm accepting that they did that. It doesn't mean that I like it. It doesn't mean that I understand it. Why did that happen? It doesn't mean that I condone it.
It's just accepting.
It's just okay, they just threw a ham and cheese sandwich in my face. Oh, all right.
All right. Next step.
Next step. And it gets complicated because there are charged emotions. There are the ways in which we react to things that maybe we don't have a full handle on yet. We're not perfect human beings, and so sometimes we have these conversations with a therapist or with a coach or even with yourself or journaling where you're like, okay, next time this happens, I'm going to take a pause and then I'm going to respond in this way, right? I am going to practice acceptance. And then something similar happens and you don't do that, right? And so it's also a progression and a learning to be with the reality of things without reacting to it. Like that is a practice, and it is an ongoing, lifelong practice for sure.
Yeah, and it's also gonna, something else that came up as you were talking is just like this whole thing of fairness and whatnot. Like it does ebb and flow with like the different contexts of life or relationships and everything too. Like, there can be different phases of a relationship where you're like, yeah, it's just gonna feel unfair to me or to my partner for this period of time because of something that's going on, right? As you are working out the kinks and whatnot. Like I think about like a client that they were moving to like a state they didn't want to go to. It felt unfair, but it was because their partner got a job out there for like a couple of years. And so it's like, this feels highly unfair to me, right? And also, being with that, like that was a lot of work that we did together, was like being with that and being, then, okay, what can we do in that scenario? Knowing that it's not going to be like that always, right? And so, just, which I think comes to the tool that unfairness can be for a relationship too, because it, there is a lot that can be experienced in that, that, you work on individually and together in that dynamic where it's like, yeah, if someone's, with you and it's like, oh, it's unfair to them for these reasons, but like, they're choosing, accepting to be with you in that, like, it's not like forcing them or anything, but like, it's like, oh yeah, like that will help foster a lot of connection in that too, because it's like, you're able to trudge through those kinds of really tender topics or experiences and feelings, and you get to learn a lot and understand about each other a lot more too in that, right? And so it's not to be like, go find yourself an unfair situation for some growth. No, but like, it can help in that way, because it's like, it's the image, right, with like fairness and the justice system, right, is like the scales, right? And it's like, so you like tip the scales. It's like that's constantly happening in like relationships, right, in different ways, right? Not just like, oh, I'm better than you today or whatever. No, like it's just like these different facets of your relationship. It's like, it's just kind of moving. It's a dynamic thing. And so understanding that it's like, it is like you're saying, yes, it's an ongoing practice for you to be able to like, work with different things, but it's also just an ongoing conversation around things too, because, something that maybe felt unfair to you today is not going to feel unfair to you in 5 years because of other things that you've worked on, for yourself, right? And it's like, even just your relationship to justice, right? Like not even justice in the context of this relationship, but like your relationship to feeling when things are unfair. Right, like you were sharing about yours, right? Like it's like that relationship to that for you has been changing. And so it's like that's going to then directly impact how it comes up for you in relationships, or any, scenario where you get kind of activated in that way too.
Yeah, definitely. And, I think one tool that is really helpful for me in navigating unfairness is what the other values that you have are in the relationship. Like, so, for me, some of the other values that I have in a relationship are being loving, staying in connection, having integrity, like doing what I said that I was going to do, and like sticking to my commitments. And so those are the things that, like, those other values that I have are really big and helpful for me in moving through challenging times, or times where I think something is happening that's unfair for me, is like looking at it from those different perspectives, right? Like from my, value of being loving and continue, and like not, because I want to continue to be loving towards my partner no matter what. Is that always like 100% like achievable? Like not always, right? Like it's totally normal to like withdraw your love sometimes, but my commitment and my to this value of being loving helps me continue to be in that connection and in that love with that person. And that also helps with like being compassionate and being empathetic and like seeing things from multiple different angles besides just this angle of I feel like this is unfair for me, right? And so looking at things from those different perspectives really helps me move through the challenge of feeling like things are unfair for me. And then the other one that I mentioned was integrity. It's like, what am I committed to in this relationship? What did I say that I was going to do? And not in a way of just like, well, I said I was going to do this 5 years ago, so now I have to like trudge through it. But it's really like checking in with that commitment and like, I said that I was going to do this. Am I still committed to doing the thing that I said that I was going to do? Like, it's like a check-in point.
Yeah.
Right? And that again has been like super helpful for me in relationships to, number one, stay grounded and keep things in perspective, because if you're just looking from the perspective of this is unfair, then it can be really easy to spiral off into those other places of like acting in a way that you may regret later, or acting in a way that is going to damage the relationship, or acting in a way that's going to hurt the other person. And so like being able to look at it from like, if I'm looking at this from the perspective of my word, then what can I see? If I'm looking at the perspective of this from staying in connection and being loving and compassionate with this person, what can I see here? And so that has been extremely helpful for me, like over the years.
Give them all your secrets.
All of the secrets, all of them.
Do it.
Yeah, and again, like it's not about being perfect, but it is about like having those check-in points with yourself. And then also part of integrity is and part of acceptance, but I also think part of integrity is the accountability or responsibility for owning up to when you do things that don't work.
Yeah.
Right? When you do things that damage the connection in the relationship, when you do things that are hurtful, like part of integrity is, for me, is inside of that, like holding yourself accountable and being responsible for those things as well. And again, if you're looking at situations just from the perspective of this is unfair, it is so much harder to hold yourself accountable or to be responsible for the things that are on your end, that are over here with you, that might have been hurtful in that, whatever the situation is, right? And I also think that it's really important when we're talking about fairness versus unfairness, and also accepting and like being with what is also the choice in moving forward as well, because there are situations in relationships where something has happened where maybe the best thing to do for you is to end that relationship. Like maybe it was so unfair or so hurtful or crossed a line, or maybe it's been a pattern over time where it's like, no, this wasn't just a one-time thing. This has been happening for years, or you continue to do this, you say that you're going to get better and you don't make any progress, and you continue to hurt me in these ways, or it continues to be unfair for me in these ways. Like if it's a pattern over time, like I also don't want you to, when we're taking away and uncollapsing fairness from right and wrong, I also don't want you to lose your own compass of what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and what you're willing to work through in relationships and what you're not willing to work through in relationships. And that's totally valid too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's also where it gets really messy.
Yeah.
Like if you involve other people, like friends or professionals of any sort, because it's like you have to recognize everyone has these different thresholds or like meanings around like, oh yeah, you shouldn't be willing to work through that, you know,
Right.
or that was so unfair, like you need to just stop it, you know, like it's, and it's not to say, you know, take it in, feel it out,
Yeah. Digest it,
go for it, totally
Yeah.
cool. And like, you know, also recognizing that you know, that really, that is different for each person too. And also recognizing too within yourself, you know, because of past things for you as well, like, you know, maybe it's like, yeah, it's kind of hard to like gauge certain things too, so you know, it's helpful to get the other feedback from other people too. But you know, I think it's just important to like bring that into play, because I mean, it's usually, you know, you go to someone and they're like this and this.
Yeah, it's also really helpful when you can have, and we've talked about this in other episodes as well, but it's really helpful when you can have people who can reflect back what they're seeing, and you know, you are the ultimate decider in your relationship,
Right.
and because I know for me, in certain relationships that have been very unhealthy, one of the most helpful things for me was to hear from other people what they were seeing in the relationship, and to get that reflection back. And also, again, like sometimes in situations where it's unfair, either for you or for the other person or for both of you simultaneously, sometimes that reflection back can just reflect back the unfairness for you, and the other person isn't taking into account like how it is unfair for the other person, or you know, how it's just an unfair situation, and again, like just coming to that acceptance piece and stuff. And so sometimes it's just like you have to digest other people's reflections, and then continue to hold your own perspective as equally, if not more, valid in the situation. So there's not a black and white answer, you know, to different situations. And like Lee was saying, you know, everyone has their own threshold of what they are willing to work through versus not willing to work through in relationships as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else that feels important to share about fairness in relationships?
Nothing's coming to mind. I'm like, we just said a lot.
We have said a lot.
So that's why I'm like, man.
That was a juicy.
Let the
that was
people
I
digest.
think this is a good digestion point for sure.
Yeah.
That was pretty stacked.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy your roast beef sandwich.
All right, loves. And if how was I gonna say that?
I don't know.
Sorry, my brain glitched for just a second. So Love Mastery is open for enrollment. If you don't know what Love Mastery is, it is a relationship coach's certification and business academy. And I train coaches to be relationship coaches, specifically specializing in LGBTQIA plus and non-monogamous relationships. And so if you are someone who loves to help people in their relationships and you want to be a person like myself or Lee, where we help and guide and support people in their relationships, if you want this level of knowledge and the ability to, like, coaching is not advice, right? Coaching is the ability to have a session with someone where they discover what's best for them, where you're holding that space. You're not telling anybody what to do, but it is a skill. It is a skill to be able to help guide and support someone to then for them to see what their blind spots are, and then for them to take action on that and to move forward with that. It is absolutely a skill, and that is what I train people in. And then I help you start your business. And so we are open for enrollment. And so go to the link if that is something that sounds like something that you would like to be able to do, if this sounds like a career that you would like to take on, even if it's just part-time, right? Then click on the link and apply for the program. And the application process looks like you filling out the form. I'll receive it, I'll review it, and then we'll have an acceptance call. And acceptance. And then if you're accepted into the program, then we'll get you enrolled and all set up. Yeah. So click on the link. I would love to be your trainer and your coach in becoming a relationship coach to our beloved community.
Do it.
Yeah. All right, lovely loves. We love you.
Okay, love you. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Queer Love Podcast. We would love to hear from you. Drop us a line on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter at Queer Love Relationships, or email us at queerloverelationships@gmail.com. If you are interested in working with us, follow the Linktree link in the show notes. See if our offers resonate with you, and if they do, sign up with us or book a discovery session. We are so grateful that you're here, listening, learning, and growing with us. Until next time, keep loving.